I'm Questlove, and that's the building where I live. It's a Frank Gehry building in downtown New York. He designed it in 2010, and it's one of the tallest residential buildings in the Western Hemisphere. I live up there near the top. When I travel so much, eating at home is like a luxury to me. So sometimes, when I'm not doing the 16 job thing, friends of mine, who just happen to be some of the world's best chefs, come through and cook for myself and some of our eclectic guests. It's like a highbrow potluck, where these illustrious culinary types dish on their dishes, their careers, their philosophies, and other tasty treats. Welcome to Questlove's Food Salon.
I'm April Bloomfield.
Brooks Headley.
Craig Thornton.
I wanted to join the police force and I didn't get in, so I had to do something to fall back on. And at the time, my two sisters were at cooking school, so I decided to take that path. I walked into the kitchen and I smelled all the spices and I saw all the equipment and I just loved the buzz of the kitchen. And then I didn't look back for another 10 years.
Even as a little kid, my mom actually banned me from going to the grocery store with her because the grocery store to me was like the coolest place on earth. I was obsessed with packaging and just different products, and I would just fill the cart with random crap, and then she would get to the register and have to like get rid of all the stuff that I wanted.
As a kid, I don't really remember going to many restaurants. Mostly as a kid, I remember trying to basically make my own restaurant for my grandma. I was making about 75 cents a meal. The first dish I ever made for my grandma was a turkey, pickle, and cheese quesadilla. Definitely not something I'd probably make now, but the thing is I understood the idea of what I was trying to go for as far as trying to use the pickle to add balance to the actual dish, which is something that has actually found its way through a lot of my cooking. I have some sort of acidity that's always cutting anything that's rich in a dish.
Playing music and music subculture is so ingrained in who I am that I can't get rid of it. Dessert specifically, you're starting with these 4 or 5 same things: flour, butter, sugar, eggs, yeast. And you're making a bunch of different things, but with those same ingredients. It's not like a steak. A steak is a steak, and then you denature the proteins and you have a cooked steak. But, you know, a profiterole or a genoise cake exists as these separate elements, and then the sum is greater than the parts. So maybe it's kind of like if you're like in a basement with like 4 people putting the parts of the song together, because they don't exist before that. It's guitar, bass, drums, singing. It's the same 4 things that you're just smashing together to make a bunch of different things, and other people are using those same things too, and their stuff sounds different than yours too. So.
Getting this opportunity to cook at Questlove Salon, you know, it's just another chance to experiment. So what I did with this dish that we're cooking tonight, I worked closely with my chef, Christina Leckie, and we've been obsessed with peas and pigeon for a long time. And we've been wanting to put it on the menu, and we haven't quite managed it yet, but we did get to experiment. So what we made was a little smoked pigeon that's slightly pan-seared with its claw stuck into the breast, holding a sphere of pea soup with a little fresh peas around the plate and pea tendrils. We've never made a sphere before, but we've done it tonight. Hopefully it'll be a success and super delicious.
I cannot wait to try this.
Okay, so this is a chilled pea soup in a sphere, so just eat it in one go, don't bite it in 2, and then just a little smoked pigeon. Yeah.
It's a little smoked pigeon.
Yeah, a little smoked pigeon. Just something simple, you know what I mean?
I love this.
Awesome.
One of those people that, of course, is going to Instagram my food before I consume it. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy right now. It's, you know, it's art more than anything, so you kind of want to preserve it. But I can't wait to try this.
I've never had squab.
I feel like a bad New Yorker, but I love it. I love pigeon.
I initially, when I found out that April was going to be here, I was totally psyched because she's like the greatest, and I absolutely love her to death, and she's got all these crazy British jokes that I don't even get, so I can't wait to hang out with her. At the Spotted Pig, she does this banoffee pie. It's like super simple, but like just violently delicious. I initially started out doing sort of a tribute to her thing, but because I'm scatterbrained, it changed into something completely different. But it does involve bananas, that's for sure. And so we're doing that, and then we're doing these little mini sort of Dixie cup creamsicle things. It's a butterscotch thing mixed with a sour apricot thing. It's something we do at the restaurant and also something we do sometimes outside. And mainly because I get to use these awesome little plastic shovels that are the kind of spoons that you get when you go to like a gelateria in Italy. Yeah, and then we made some veggie burgers to go too. So
the dish I made today is pork belly, Dungeness crab, spinach and cotija gnocchi, corn, and then a blue lake bean, yellow wax bean, and sauteed corn salad with a little bit of guajillo chili and remoulade.
It's always important when you create a menu or you create a dish that you talk to other chefs that you're working with. I'm quite lucky because I got the first course, so I think everybody probably followed on from me. You know, you communicate because you want it to be a nice flow. You know, you don't want to beat your palate into unconsciousness.
It's weird not plating on my plates because I see things so visually all the time. My food is very temperature oriented. It's very always contrasting temperatures. There's always a cooked and a raw element on the plate pretty much. So speed is the main thing. It's always speed. Having it sit around, that drives me crazy.
My creativity comes from, you know, being hungry in the morning, lying in bed with a cookbook, and just looking through random recipes and just getting excited about an ingredient that I might see, and then going to the kitchen and just kind of playing around.
when you're a pastry chef, you make the last course. And a lot of times at that point, people aren't even hungry anymore. And a lot of people, especially in fancy restaurants, will tell you that they don't like dessert or they don't even want dessert. For me, the ultimate sort of pleasure that I get personally is when someone says, oh, I don't like desserts or I'm not into desserts, and then I get to serve them one of my desserts and they're like, this is amazing, I love this, and clean the plate when they, like I said, when they're not even hungry anymore. So
my food definitely comes from a more internal, soulful area of my body and not so cerebral as other chefs. But that's the glory of food. You can do so much with it, whether it's your soul or your brain.
I've built out this loft space in LA that I have. And there, I'm literally having conversations all night, every night. Add that up over years, and then all of a sudden you start to see what people gravitate towards. So then when I go through and I build out these spaces, I'm thinking about how can people interact with the space? What does the lighting look like? How is the sound? Through that, I'm also building the menu to match that world. What I'm really kind of focusing on right now is the experience that you're taking away and how it lives with you after, a day after, a month after, hopefully years after, you still remember that particular night of your life.
in the end, cooking and working in a restaurant is all about hospitality. It's all about the guest. It's not about, oh, I'm a tortured artist and this is my art and you need to experience it. That's kind of bullshit. It's not about us, it's about them. You don't want them to look at the plate and say, wow, that's interesting, or wow, how did they do that? You want them to just devour the plate and then just sit back and just go, yes. That's what you want. So.